There is a quiet, terrifying moment that happens to every ambitious person. You look around at your friends, your family, your contacts, and realize no one is coming. No one is going to save you, fund your vision, or catch you when you fall. For 99% of people, this realization is where the journey ends. The sudden drop into isolation breaks them. They cry out, ask why me, and immediately adopt the permanent identity of a victim. Outliers recognize this silence as a necessary baptism. It ends the search for external permission and marks the start of individual construction. From birth, society conditions you to believe that success requires a crowd. School group projects, networking events, we are fed the idea that to move up, you must be lifted up by others. Here is the trap. Seeking support is seeking debt. When someone invests in you, they own a piece of you. That safety net you are looking for is actually a spiderweb. The moment you rely on external emotional validation, you give others the power to stall your progress simply by pulling that validation away. You have to accept the 0 point, the state of absolute isolation. Most people panic here, but look closer. If you have 0 support, you have 0 masters. An empty room is a massive strategic advantage. You have no one to consult, no one to slow you down. Building the empire entirely alone ensures you keep 100% of the throne. To survive the silence, you have to enter the ghost phase. This requires taking a strict, unbreakable vow of silence regarding every ambition you have. When you share a big goal, your brain gets a dopamine hit, feeling like you've achieved it, and your drive vanishes. Silence stops that leak. Unspoken ambition builds up in your system like steam in a sealed boiler, creating pressure that forces you into action. Supported people run on light energy, encouragement, collaboration, and joy. When you are alone, you must abandon that fuel. You have to learn to run on the dark energy of defiance and spite. Psychology calls this sublimation. Carl Jung referred to integrating the shadow. It's the practice of taking emotions like envy, pride, and aggression and weaponizing them. You take the pain of isolation, the memories of people laughing, the texts left unread, and channel it into high-octane fuel for extreme productivity. Elite competitors do this constantly. Michael Jordan famously invented slights against himself, convincing his own brain that opponents disrespected him, just to summon the absolute rage required to destroy them on the court. Inspiration is fickle, but spite is loyal. You create a Pavlovian trigger where pain directly causes production, ensuring your engine runs relentlessly even when you are entirely alone. But this isolation introduces a new threat: total freedom. Without the external structure of a boss or a team enforcing rules, the natural human tendency is to dissolve into laziness and entropy. To survive, you have to develop a split personality. You must become a ruthless, unyielding dictator to your own weaker, comfortable self. This requires an iron protocol. First, you win the morning negotiation by beating the alarm clock. Second, you execute isolated deep work blocks. By shutting out the world, you move at an asymmetrical speed, outpacing massive corporations in a single afternoon. Third, enforce a strict information diet to protect your mind from cheap media. And fourth, conduct a brutal evening review. You look in the mirror and act as your own harshest manager, demanding to know if you actually moved the needle today. Which brings us to the biggest trap designed for the lonely builder: the societal mandate that you must go out and network. Walking into a room of powerful people when you have nothing to offer makes you a beggar. The comedian Steve Martin had the real answer: be so good they can't ignore you. You must master your craft until you are undeniable. True leverage is never found by chasing connections. It is built by staying isolated and creating a honeypot of pure, intense competence that forces the market to seek you out. If you follow this path, something predictable happens. You start winning, and suddenly the exact people who were too busy for you come flooding back. They will try to rewrite history. They will smile and say how proud they are of what we accomplished. They want to stand next to a trophy they didn't help lift. This is your final test. The old version of you, the one that craved validation, will feel a deep temptation to let them back in, just to satisfy the old craving for acceptance. Maintain polite indifference. You become a wall of glass. They can witness your success, but they cannot touch it. Sovereignty brings a specific kind of peace. Every stone in the castle is yours because your hands were the only ones that carried them. The architect emerges from this isolation with the power to design their own world. Now that you don't need support, you are the only one capable of giving it strategically, acting as a patron for the next outlier sitting in that same empty room.